Welcome to our Tuesday night Digital Insiders Aspire Masterclass. Can everybody hear my voice okay and see my screen? You should see a slide that says Digital Insiders Aspire Masterclass. Picture of me right here. Okay, cool. All right, so for those of you that have been on this before, again, this is the same, basically the same masterclass that we do every week. I have revamped it a little bit for this week based on some feedback that I've gotten from you guys over the past few weeks. So you're more than welcome to stay if you've been on this before, but just want to give you guys a heads up that it's probably not going to be a whole lot of new information if you've already been on our Aspire Masterclass. So like last Tuesday or any of the previous Tuesdays at this time. So I just want to give you guys that heads up so you don't spend the next hour on here expecting some new material and it's all kind of the same stuff that you've heard. That being said, you're more than welcome to attend, but just wanted to let you guys know that. Now this is going to be a little bit different from the ones we've done in the past, just like I said, based on some feedback that I've gotten. I really want to clarify for you guys a few things in particular. One of the things that I feel like people have been having a hard time with. Well, first, let me ask you guys this: how many of you have gone through steps 1 through 6 at the Aspire in the Aspire training? So type a 1 in the chat box if you've gone through all 6, the first 6 steps, completed them, did the worksheets and everything, and type a 2 in the chat box if you have not, just so I can get an idea. All right, cool. It looks kind of like most people have gone through all 6. Some people have not. That's cool. All right, great. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, if you're having issues getting Skype to work, I'm not really technical support, unfortunately, so I don't know. I'm not going to be able to help you with that. But contact support at the Digital Altitude support, and they'll be able to help you, I'm sure. All right, cool. So it looks like we've got some people that have gone through the training and some people that haven't. So just type, if you understand then like how this makes money, like how this whole process works and how you make money with Digital Altitude, put an X in the chat box. If you don't understand, really, if you're still confused about how it actually makes money, type an N in the chat box. All right, cool. Well, it looks like I see a lot of X's, see some N's. Okay, so yeah, that seems to be one of the things that that I've discovered going through this with you guys in the past, or other members of Digital Insiders that are just getting started, is that I think it makes a lot of sense to people that have a little bit of experience or a little bit of basic understanding of affiliate marketing, but then there's some people that it's still just not super clear for you guys. So what I want to do tonight is first we're going to talk about kind of the right mindset for being an entrepreneur and starting an online business, and then we're going to get into the kind of how this all works, the actual like nuts and bolts of how just affiliate marketing, online businesses in general function, so that hopefully you'll understand and have a better idea of how you guys make money with Digital Altitude. And I'll answer any questions that you guys have about that sort of stuff when we get towards the end. So does that sound good with you guys? All right, cool. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is having the right mindset. This is really key, and this is kind of like a lot of people are just kind of like, oh yeah, I've heard this all before. Yeah, you got to be positive, you got to think positive, and all that sort of stuff. But it really is absolutely critical to your success, and it's something that you have to kind of remind yourself of every single day, because this, starting a successful online business and making real money and turning it into the type of lifestyle business where it's really kind of running itself on autopilot, and you have freedom of time to enjoy your life, and you have actually money that you can enjoy, and you don't have to go to the regular 9-to-5 job. I mean, to get to that point, it takes time. There's a lot of people out there selling you this dream where it's like kind of the idea is, okay, you just follow this simple system, and then overnight you're going to be a success. Well, it takes a little bit more than that. It's not always just overnight, and a lot of times it can be very frustrating. It can be very challenging if you don't have the right mindset. So one of the first things that I think is really important is, if you want to be successful, you really have to accept responsibility not only for your decisions and your actions, but just for your life, right? Because a lot of people like to tend to um, blame other people, blame outside forces. They don't like their job, so they blame their boss for being a jerk, or something bad happens at work, they blame somebody. They say so and so did this, so and so did that. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's your choice to go to that job every day. Uh, sometimes it's not like you can necessarily just quit today and then still be okay. If you need the money, you need the money, but you can always be making changes in your life to change your situation. So even things that are completely out of your control, natural disasters happen. There's just what often referred to as act of God by insurance companies. There's all kinds of things that could happen to you that are completely outside of your control. But the way that you handle that, and the way that you react to it, and the way that you move forward is completely up to you. You can either let those type of events, drag you down, or you can use them as motivation to work harder, to strive even harder to get towards your goals. And that's absolutely essential when when you want to have a successful business. This isn't going to necessarily be smooth sailing. You are going to make mistakes. You're going to run into obstacles along the way, and it depends on the way that you handle that, and the way that you approach it is going to be critical to your success. And accepting not only responsibility for your actions, but responsibility for the way that you are going to act in response to any kind of obstacles or anything that you have to overcome is really going to be critical to your success. You also should set high expectations for yourself and set goals for yourself. It's important to set goals because if you don't have goals for yourself, you could be positive all you want, but if you don't have any goal, you don't really have a direction. You don't have something that you're working towards. So you have to have goals for yourself and set high goals. You don't have to set unrealistic stuff like, I'm going to have $1 million in the next 6 months. If you're currently making, $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and then you just say, okay, well, I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but in 6 months from now, I'm going to be a millionaire. That's great, but you're kind of that might be a little bit unrealistic. It might take a little bit longer than that. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, I want to be a millionaire 5 years from now. And it might not take that long, but you definitely want to have high expectations for yourself, and set realistic goals for yourself, but don't sell yourself short. I mean, you can accomplish a lot in 10 years, and you could be like a completely different person in 10 years. So make sure, think about that. Think about where you want to be 5, 10 years from now, and set high expectations for that. Set high goals for yourself, and work hard to get to those goals. Now, another thing to keep in mind is a lot of people think that and ideas are going to make them wealthy. Just having a great idea is what they need to be successful. But ideas in and of themselves are a dime a dozen. I mean, I have great business ideas every single day, but I don't have time to pursue every single idea that I have. And nothing gets done if I don't actually do anything. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to realize. I'm not going to put that into action. I'm not going to realize, the end result of that idea. So, ideas happen all the time, but the way that you are able to achieve success is by actually taking action. So if you have a great idea and you make a plan and you take action and pursue it, that's how you're going to have success. And taking action is one of the most important things that you can do. Setting goals is great, but if you don't have a plan and you don't actually take action to get to that goal, then nothing's ever going to come of it. And one thing that really kind of gets in our way and prevents us from taking action a lot of times is this fear of failure. But the only way that you can truly fail is to never try. And like quote unquote failure is what we often refer to as failure isn't really failing. It's simply learning what's not working so that we can figure out what does work. And it's absolutely critical to having success. You have to be willing to fail, and you have to just accept that that's part of how we learn and how we grow. So if you want to grow, excuse me, if you want to grow and become successful, you just have to embrace the fact that you are going to fail a lot. And I like this image that kind of very accurately represents what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So to people on the outside, they think that this is what it looks like. You have a great idea, someone gives you some money, you build it, and then you're a success overnight. Wow, you were really lucky that everything happened so perfectly for you. But that's not how it happens. That's never how it happens. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is what it's actually like for the entrepreneur. You get started, you make a wrong turn, you change up the direction of your business completely, you may take a few steps back, you're going all over the place, you're working really hard, you're constantly failing, you're probably pretty insecure and worried that you're going to fail and that you might not be able to pay your bills. It's not easy, right? But eventually, with persistence, you have success, and then everybody thinks that was like, oh, that was so easy. But the truth of the matter is it's really not. So just be prepared for that. If you've never started a business before, be prepared for the fact that it's not always going to be super easy. But with persistence, you'll make it. Here's a few examples of some really successful people in history that have overcome a lot of challenges. Abraham Lincoln, for example, was born into poverty. He failed in business twice. He suffered a nervous breakdown and then lost 8 elections before becoming what many people would consider to be the greatest American president. And he's certainly somebody that's going to be remembered, throughout the ages. But it wasn't easy for him. He had to be very persistent. And here's a quote from him. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you're content with your failure. So it doesn't matter if you fail. You're supposed to fail. Everybody fails, but it's about how you react to that. Do you get back on the horse and you persist and continue to pursue your dreams? That's what defines a person. Michael Jordan quoted as saying, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and miss. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." This is a guy, of course, he's not perfect. He's failed a lot of times, but he's arguably one of the greatest basketball players that's ever lived. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb and a lot of other things that we use today. And he's quoted as saying, this is one of his most famous quotes: "I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And that's all it is. When we make mistakes and when we quote unquote fail, failing isn't. If we're actually trying, we're supposed to fail, and it's not a failure. It's just things didn't work out the way we expected, and that happens. That's just part of the process. It's okay to make mistakes, right? We're typically, as human beings, used to, we kind of have a negative association with making mistakes because we're used to getting punished for mistakes in a lot of ways. Now that the consequences to our mistake help us grow and help us learn, but we often view those consequences as punishment, and as a result, we try to avoid making mistakes. So if you show up late to work too many times, you might lose your job. If you get a bad grade on a test, you might fail your test, you might fail the class and have to retake it. So we associate this with something negative, but really it's just teaching us what we're supposed to do, teaching us how to really in that particular sense, in those examples, teaching us how to behave in our our roles as a student or in the workforce, whatever. But these are things that happen to us all the time. We make mistakes in all aspects of our life, and mistakes, we just have to understand that mistakes bring us closer to finding a solution that works. So it shouldn't be something that's viewed as negative. It should be something that's viewed as just a part of the learning process. And this fear of making mistakes often leads to what many people refer to as paralysis by analysis, where we try to prepare for every possible outcome. So as a result, we're so busy preparing for every possible outcome that could happen, we never actually take action and nothing ever gets done. So you could read every book on surfing, you could watch every YouTube video out there that teaches you how to surf, but I guarantee the first time you get out on the ocean and try and stand up on that board, you're going to fall off. So the only way to truly learn is to get out there and do it and be willing to make mistakes. So now understanding all of this and having the right mindset is really important, but you also have to think about all the other people that are around you in your life because they're going to contribute, whether you want them to or not, they're going to contribute to the way that you think. So if you are super positive all the time and all the people around you are very negative, they're eventually going to, that's going to wear on you. You're going to start to think the way that they do, and you're going to start to have negative beliefs. So you have to think about who are you spending all your time around. Jim Rohn, a famous public speaker, said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And this is very true. If you spend time with people that are very negative, you're likely to be very negative and probably unsuccessful and probably broke. If you spend a lot of time around rich and successful people, they're going to their mentality is going to kind of shed off on you, and you're going to end up having the same type of mentality, and you're going to have the same type of belief system that allows them to be successful, and you'll be successful as well. So think about who you're spending time around. Are they influencing you in a positive way? Are they influencing you in a negative way? If they're influencing you in a negative way, you might not want to spend so much time around that person. You might want to seek out some better influences. So, all right, so that's all really great stuff. It's really important that you have the right type of mentality and everything, but now what you guys really want to know is how are we going to make money online. So once you have the right mentality, you actually have to know what to do to be able to make money and be successful. So what we're teaching you how to do is sell digital products. So this is what you're going to learn how to do as a member of Digital Altitude, but also as a member of Digital Insiders. We teach you how to generate leads and sell digital information products. So we're not generally selling physical, we're not generally selling physical products, though a lot of the stuff that we teach could be applied to selling physical products online. But our business models are based off of selling digital products. And there's some reasons for this. They're generally fairly easy to create and deliver. So with, like right now, I'm using my laptop. I've got a GoToWebinar account. I've got this, I've got my slide show right here, and I can record this as I'm training you guys, and this is something that I could then package and sell. It's pretty easy to do. I can knock it out fairly quickly. It doesn't require a lot of physical parts and supplies and stuff. It's something that I can just do digitally. It's pretty easy to create and deliver for the most part, and it's something I can deliver digitally. I can create a sales page online on a website, accept money through the website, and then immediately give you access to this content. And because what we're doing, instead of selling physical goods, we're sharing knowledge or expertise. It's something that we can generally charge whatever we want for. I mean, whatever people are willing to pay for this knowledge and for the end results that they're going to get from applying the knowledge, the sky's the limit, really. So what we end up having is a type of product that can have fairly high profit margins, because if I record this webinar and then I decide I want to sell it, well, I mean, all the work's been done in creating the product by the time I'm done recording the webinar, right? So at that point, let's say that if I factor in my time and my cost for internet, buying the computer, whatever, that's X amount of dollars went into producing the content. Let's say it cost me $500 in time to put together this slideshow and record it. So that's my cost that I'm going to apply to this. Say it was $500. So now I'm going to sell it for, let's say I'd sell it for $10 online. Once I have 50 people buy it, okay, now I paid for my cost. And now every single person beyond that I sell the product to, it's pure profit, right? Of course, less the cost of acquiring traffic and all that stuff, which we'll get into later. But essentially, there's no additional cost. It doesn't cost me any more in terms of the actual product itself, of creating the product, whether I sell 1 copy or if I sell 1 million copies, right? So that's one of the big benefits for selling digital products, because when you're selling in high volume, the profit margin becomes very, very high. Some other really great benefits is that, for one thing, you can run your business from anywhere that has internet. Like, I travel a lot, and I can, I just work from my laptop, because I can create content, I can create sales pages, I can run these webinars from literally anywhere that I want, as long as I have an internet connection. And it's also very easy to automate, because everything's digital. You have a lot of softwares and tools that allow you to automate the business. So selling digital products online that's why a lot of people that want a quote unquote lifestyle business where they have a lot of freedom of time and money, they tend to gravitate towards this type of business because it really, once you get it going, it's something that in a lot of ways can run itself, and it doesn't require you to show up at a specific location at a specific time every single day. Now that's all well and good, but what if you don't have a product? Well, the thing is you don't actually need a product. What we do is, what we recommend for people that are just getting started is something that's called affiliate marketing. If you're not familiar with it, basically all affiliate marketing is I have a product, I want you to sell my product, so I'm going to pay you a commission for every time you sell my product. So how does this work? Well, because my product's digital and I'm selling it online, I've got a website with my URL, www.myproduct.com, and I can create a custom link for you where every time somebody clicks on that link, I know that you were the one that referred them, so that when you send a bunch of traffic to my website and then somebody actually buys the product that I'm selling, I know that that sale came from you, and I'll pay you a commission. There's a few different ways that you can pay out commissions. There's the revenue share model where the affiliate gets paid based on a percentage of their total sales. So they might have a visitor might buy multiple products. So if a visitor buys multiple products, then that affiliate gets a percentage of the total amount. Sometimes there's just a CPA, or a cost per action, where an affiliate might get paid just a flat amount regardless of how many people buy something. And when it's cost per action, it could be that they're getting paid just for a lead, for sending an email address. They could be getting paid every time a sale happens. Maybe a phone call is required. Every time somebody calls a number, the affiliate gets paid. So there's a lot of different ways that an affiliate gets paid on out in a CPA model. And then there's like the franchise licensing model, which is what Digital Altitude really is. With Digital Altitude, you're not just an affiliate that's sending some traffic, and when somebody makes a purchase, you get a percentage of the sale. When somebody makes a purchase, there's a whole mess of stuff that happens. There's a whole big process that happens after that, where the folks at Digital Altitude work on selling that person more products, helping them build their business. And every time that person, buys more products, you actually get more of a commission. So when you're at a high level as a Digital Altitude member, you're getting really, really high dollar amount commissions for some of the referrals that you send. And we're not going to dive into that too much right now, but just know that that's kind of what Digital Altitude is all about, and it's a little bit different from your typical affiliate marketing programs where you only get commissions based on that initial sale. Digital Altitude is going to pay you commissions on all sales that happen through their own back-end practices and their sales team and whatnot. So far, does that kind of make sense to you guys? Do you have any questions about, some of you guys that might be new, do you have questions about what digital products are or what affiliate marketing is? Okay, cool. So if everybody's on the same page, let's continue along. Now let's look at what in the very basic form, what this business model looks like. It's super duper simple form. You have traffic, which means website visitors. So these are people that are online, that are maybe surfing the web or maybe reading emails or whatever they're doing, that click through a link to go to your sales page. And that's where you have your product, you're selling your product. So you want the traffic to go to your page and buy your product, right? So if you have a decent traffic source, you've got a decent sales page, you might be able to get about a 1% conversion rate on your sales page. When you send the traffic, visitors to your sales page, maybe about 1 in 100 might buy, especially if you have a product that's around the maybe $30 range. That's kind of considered sometimes, it's like low to mid-ticket item. It's kind of low, but it's not, $30 isn't, it's not necessarily easy to get somebody to spend $30 with you when they don't know you, there's no trust been built or anything like that. But 1% conversion rate for a $30 product isn't bad. So let's say that we send 100 visitors to that product. That means if we have 1% conversion rate, it's $30 per sale, then we have $30 in revenue. Okay, so that means that we have to be able to spend, we have to be able to get that traffic for 30 cents a click or less to break even. Now, what a lot of people focus on when they're starting out is they think that, okay, well, if I need 100 people to my page to make $30, then I need to get traffic for as cheap as possible. But the truth of the matter is, in order to be successful online, have a successful online business, you need to be able to spend more, not less. Your focus shouldn't be on trying to get the cheapest traffic. It should be trying to increase that average return per click that will allow you to spend more to get the traffic. So as we go forward, as time evolves, 15 years ago, you could get clicks from Google for a penny or a couple cents, and people were making a killing back then. Now it's several dollars per click, typically through Google. And traffic is just getting more and more expensive. It's going to continue to get more and more expensive as time goes on. So the people that are focused on trying to get the cheapest traffic, they're just going to die out, and eventually it's just going to be people that can afford to spend more money. So that's where your focus should be right away, is being able to spend more money per click. So how do you get to that? All right, well, let's take a look at some examples here. So now let's introduce an additional product into our funnel. So for those of you that have been through the digital altitude steps 1 through 6, you understand a little bit more about the back-end products and the product sales funnel and things like that. Let's take a look. I've increased it to 1,000 visitors just to make the math easy. But now, let's say we've got the same product, a 1% conversion rate, $30 per sale. But now we're introducing another product into our sales funnel. After somebody purchases this, then they're going to be introduced to this additional product, and you make $100 per sale. And that's at what I put at 30% conversion rate. And the reason why this is so much higher, that's 30% of the people that actually take this item, which is pretty reasonable. That's actually very common to see conversion rates like that on upsells, because this is somebody that's already decided, hey, you have something that I want and I'm willing to pay for it. So when you offer them something that will help them accelerate their results or automate their results for a little bit more, they tend to be more likely to take it. So having about a 30% conversion rate on upsells, not unheard of. That's pretty standard. So now let's look at how much we can spend by adding that $100 upsell into the sales funnel. Now, when we send 1,000 visitors to our product at a 1% conversion rate, that means 10 people buy at $30 per sale. So we have $300 in revenue from that first product. But now we're sending the traffic, all the people that bought, to the upsell. So out of the 10 people that bought, that means with a 30% conversion rate, 3 of those people are likely to take the upsell for $100 per sale. That's an additional $300 in revenue. Now we've effectively increased the amount that we can spend on traffic to 60 cents per click. So does that all make sense so far? All right, cool. So now let's look at what happens when we add additional upsells into the sales funnel. So we've got our 1% conversion rate at $30 per sale. We've got a 30% conversion rate on that upsell. We have additional upsells here. So now we have $300 in revenue from the front end. 30% of those people that so we got 10,000 visitors now, 1% conversion rate, it means 100 sales at $30 per sale, $300 revenue. We have an upsell that's $100 per sale. With 30 sales, that's $3,000 in additional revenue. If 30% of those people take a $500 sale, that's 9 sales, that's an additional $4,500 in revenue, and then that's with the final upsell at $1,000 per sale, 30% conversion rate on the people that have taken this, that's 3 sales, that's an additional $3,000 in revenue. That means $13,500 total revenue, and that brings our break even up to $1.35. So now we can spend up to $1.35 to break even. So at this point, you see why it's important to offer multiple products at various tiers. Because this is one of the key elements to having a successful online business, is not selling one product, but having multiple products and having tiered products. So you have products that are relatively inexpensive to get people into your sales funnel, and then you have additional products that will increase the amount of profit and the amount that you can spend on traffic. So just to make sure that you guys are still with me, if you don't mind, type a 1 in the chat box if this all makes sense, and type 2 in the chat box if you're pretty confused about what's going on right now. All right, looks like it makes sense. All right, I'm seeing a couple of 2s. If you typed a 2 in the chat box, just type a question that you got. If you typed a 2 and you're confused, let me know what you're confused about, and I'll try to answer that. Okay. Okay, what are the products we're selling? Okay. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. You can sell, basically, the short answer is you can sell any products that you want using this business model, but what we're going to recommend that you sell initially are the digital altitude products. Does that make sense? Like you're selling Aspire to other people and things like that, and some of the other products that digital altitude offers. And there's a reason for that, and I'll get into the details about why we've selected digital altitude as the products to sell towards the end, but just know that this business model you can apply to anything online. So does that make sense? Dwight? Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll go ahead and, yeah, I'll answer, if you have more questions later on, I'll answer those, and we'll talk about that more a little bit later. I just want to make sure that you guys are all on the same page before we continue. So again, at this point, I've kind of alluded to the fact that you're going to want to pay for traffic, that you don't necessarily want to rely on free traffic, which free traffic is fine. Let me just be clear on that point. There are ways to generate free traffic, and if you don't have a budget to spend money on traffic, then by all means, start out with using some free traffic methods. But you just have to understand that eventually you want to work your way towards paying for traffic, because that's what gives you leverage. That's what gives you this scalability, the ability to scale your business quickly. Because if you have to spend all your time trying to generate free traffic, you're going to be very limited on how much traffic you can generate, because you're limited by your own amount of time. Like there's only 24 hours in a day, so you're limited by that amount of time to be able to work on generating free traffic. With paid traffic, the sky's the limit. If you can throw $10,000 of traffic, that means you get $10,000 worth of traffic. If you're paying $1 per click, that's 10,000 clicks. You throw $1 million, that's 1 million clicks. You throw $100 million, that's 100 million clicks, right? So if you've got a good business, if you got a good sales funnel that's generating profit and you're reinvesting that profit back into traffic, then you can really scale your business very quickly. So that's what we want to get to. So keep in mind, free traffic is not free. Free traffic takes time, and it's not easily scalable. Paid traffic is leveraged, and it allows you to scale your business online quickly. So even if you start with free traffic, you want to work towards spending money on traffic, to paid traffic. People ask me all the time, how much of my profit should I reinvest into traffic? What should my advertisement budget be? Well, in the beginning, it should be 100%. The more that you can spend on traffic, the faster you can scale. So all of your profit that's coming in from your sales should go back into more traffic until you scale it to a point where you can afford to take some out for yourself and still keep the business growing. You want to be putting 100% of your profit back into traffic. And how you do this, like we talked about already, high ticket back-end sales. You have multiple upsells, multiple products at various price points. So let's take a look at the types of products that we have in our product funnel. We have what's often referred to as the no profit or loss leader. So this is a feeder product. This is like the type of thing that gets people in the store. So maybe Walmart has a sale on TVs. So they sell TVs for sometimes less than what they actually pay for them. And why do they do that? To get people in the store, because they know that when people get in the store, they're going to buy a bunch of other items as well. They're likely to buy maybe a DVD player, or Blu-ray player, or an entertainment system or something to go with the TV. Plus, stores like Walmart also sell all kinds of other products, clothes, groceries, things like that, that people might buy while they're there as well. So they have those loss leaders to get people in the store. Same thing with us. We have very low ticket items that are just to get people into our sales funnel. Next, we want to upsell that person. If somebody buys this item, we want to immediately try to upsell them to something, because at this level, we're actually going to be able to pay for our advertising. So the feeder products, they usually don't even cover the cost of our advertising. So we're losing money on the traffic that we send here unless we have another product in our sales funnel that is a little bit more expensive, that a smaller percentage of people are going to take, but it's going to be enough people to cover our cost of advertising in an ideal scenario. It's going to cover our advertising. So then at this point, if all of our advertising costs, our traffic costs are covered by these products, as people keep going through our sales funnel, everything else is profit. So we have our primary offer where we're going to make a little bit of profit, and then we have our high ticket back end offers where we make our most money. And typically these aren't going to be necessarily in our initial sales funnel, because these could be products that cost sometimes several $1,000s, and before somebody spends that kind of money with us, they're going to need to have a little bit more trust. So the more money that we're asking our customers for, the more trust that they're going to have in us before they spend that type of money. So that's generally not going to happen when somebody first lands on our sales page, but if they bought our product, they saw how good it is, they bought a few more products, they know that it's always worth the money. They're going to be a lot more likely to spend a lot, the high dollars on the high-ticket back-end products. Not everybody's going to do that, but some people will, and that's where we're going to actually make our money. So let's take a look at this again with some other products that are kind of following this product funnel. With initially we have our feeder product. So before I mentioned that, we might have a $30 product with a 1% conversion rate, but a lot of times what people do is they'll lower the initial cost of the product, like the first product that they're selling in their sales funnel, to something maybe around $7, because they see a higher conversion rate, and that just gets more people into their sales funnel. So that if they have a deep sales funnel with a lot of products and some high ticket items, then it makes sense to charge less for that first product, because then you get more people into the funnel. So let's say that we have 10,000 visitors and we're spending 50 cents per click. So we've spent $5,000 on these 10,000 visitors, and we send them all to our first, our feeder product, which is $7 per sale. A 3% conversion rate, that's 300 sales times $7, that's only $2,100, right? So at this point, if this was the only product that we have, then we've lost $2,900. So we're operating, so it's a loss right now, right? But because we're going to add additional products into our sales funnel, we can break even. So now we have our funded products, and maybe this is a $97 product, and because it's $97, it's quite a bit more than our initial product, so not everybody's going to buy it, but we'll say there's about a 10% conversion rate, so 1 out of 10 people are interested in this product because it really helps them get their results faster and it helps them get the results easier. So of the 300 people, that's 30 sales at $97 per sale. Now we've broken even. Okay, there's like $10 profit, but basically that's $5,000 has been recouped. So at this point, with these products, we're still not making any money. All we're doing is paying for our traffic. But we can continue to take that money, because we're breaking even at this point, and spend it on another 5,000 or another 10,000 visits. And at this point, every time that we take the $5,000 that we made, reinvest it into traffic, it's a cycle where it's just paying for itself right here, right? So then at that point, because our traffic is paid for now we can introduce additional products into our sales funnel, and every $5,000 that we spend, if we have let's say we have another $200 primary offer with a 30% conversion rate on people that have spent $97 with us already, that's $1,800 profit every time we spend the $5,000 on the 10,000 visits. But that's paying for itself. So every time we just make the traffic purchase, that's an extra $1,800 profit, just every time that we do that. And then if we add additional products into the funnel, then that's even more profit right there. Now, another thing that we can do to increase the amount of conversions that we have, because if we just take this traffic and send it to a sales page, okay, so we've got a 3% conversion rate right here, but that means that 97% of the people that hit this sales page, they're gone, right? Like, that's just 97% of the traffic that we bought is just gone forever, and we're not going to, that was just like kind of a waste. So what we do to remedy that is we use something called a squeeze page, or an opt-in page, or an email opt-in page. where we send our visitors to the squeeze page first. Oftentimes, we're going to offer them something for free in exchange for their email address so that we've got their email. And then once they've signed up, then we'll send them to a sales page where they can now purchase our product. So that way, we're not losing out on all this traffic. So for 1,000, if we send 1,000 visitors, it's not uncommon if we have targeted traffic and we have a good squeeze page, it's not uncommon to have a 30 to 40% opt-in rate, which means that every 1,000 visitors that we send, instead of just having 10 of them buying something, we are actually getting 300 to 400 of them into a database where now we can follow up with them. We can offer them some more incentives. We can build a relationship with them. We can show them that we can deliver a lot of value, and we can ultimately promote our products to them again and promote additional products to them again so that we can monetize that as well. And a lot of people are hesitant to do this because they think, well, if I send the traffic directly to the product page, then more people see this product page. But the fact of the matter is, if you do this right, and it's all like, you got your traffic dialed in, you got a good squeeze page, you got a good sales page, and it all makes sense together, then a lot of times your conversion rate on the product is actually going to go up with this squeeze page in front of it. It's got a little bit counterintuitive sometimes, but that's just has shown to be the case. Now, somebody asked earlier, what should I sell? And I told you, well, for one thing, I'm going to recommend that you sell initially digital altitude, but you could really follow this model and sell anything. So real quick, let's just talk about some other items that you could sell. Let's just say that you were going to get into some other markets. Some things to keep in mind are that competition is actually a good thing. Competition means people are willing to spend money for your products. If you try to enter a non-competitive market where there's nobody selling anything, a lot of times, not always, but most of the time that means that there's not really any money to be made. If there was money to be made, there would probably already be people in that market. So you want to go after competitive markets, but you need to niche down so you differentiate yourself from your competition. By niching down, you can be a little bit different, but you can still appeal to the same market that we already know is profitable. So there's three big niche markets that pretty much, like most people that are successful with digital marketing, go into these markets. So there's the make money or finance market, which this is what digital altitude falls under this category because it's teaches you how to do online marketing, make money with an online business. Dating and relationships. So this is another huge market. There's hundreds of millions, billions of people out there that want to find somebody to fall in love with or get married, or they want to they already have a relationship but they want to maintain that relationship. Health and fitness market, again, just tons and tons of people out there that want to be healthier, that want to be in better shape, that want to live longer. So these are huge markets, but you can't just go into those markets with a very broad offer and expect to make any money because there's already so many people there. So you have to niche down. So here's some examples of how you would niche down. And for example, in the health and fitness market, you might, instead of just offering a generic, hey, lose 30 pounds in 30 days product, you might target brides. So you might do weight loss for brides. Hey, are you getting married soon? You want to fit in that that you saw that great dress that you want, but you can't quite fit in it. You want to fit in that dress and look really good for your wedding day. Well, this product will help you do that. Kettlebell workouts for women, like how to lose weight after pregnancy. So it's very common for when women get pregnant, they gain a little bit of weight, and then after they have their child, they want to lose that weight. So if you have a product that all the marketing specifically speaks to them, the product itself is specifically more effective for a woman that's trying to lose weight after a pregnancy, and that's where all your marketing is talking about. Hey, if you just had a child, you want to lose the extra weight that you put on during your pregnancy, it's going to resonate a lot more strongly with that person, and it's going to convert a lot better than just that generic, hey, you want to lose 30 pounds sort of thing. So does that all kind of make sense? Just type in no if you're confused. Okay, cool. So earlier I was talking about how you can make money selling other people's products, and affiliate marketing is one of the ways of doing it. But Also, there's like the quote-unquote franchise model, which is a little bit more like what Digital Altitude is. So Digital Altitude is essentially like a digital version of like a McDonald's franchise or a Burger King franchise. And these things are so successful. When somebody buys a Burger King franchise, they're very likely to succeed. 85% of franchises succeed, but 95% of other businesses fail. So why is that? Because most businesses don't have a proven model. They have an idea. They might even have a plan of implementing the idea, but a lot of times it just doesn't work. It doesn't work out the way that they thought it would. But a franchise is a proven system that's already proven to work. It's proven to make money. And if you just follow the simple steps, then then you can reap the rewards and you have success. Now, owning the system is hard work. You don't have to own the system. Again, this is kind of what we've been talking about. You don't have to own the product. All you have to do is be able to leverage the product. If you know how to drive traffic and generate leads, then you can be very successful with this. Franchises are, again, proven systems. Everything's pretty much done for you. It's a step-by-step process. It's systemized and scalable. So this is why we recommend that you promote Digital Altitude, is because Digital Altitude behind it, not only is it a great product, it's got a great brand reputation, but it's also, there's so much support. There's a massive sales team that helps to upsell people to additional products. They've got a great follow-up. They've got customer support. They've got great email copywriting for follow-up emails to upsell people. Their marketing materials. They've got highly trained professionals that handle that. It's a real business. So it's not like going out there and trying to start your own digital business. I mean, this is an established business that has a proven system that works, and it's very expensive to do that, but it's something that Digital Altitude has already handled. They've got all these different products. So let's take a look at kind of how all this works. Digital Altitude has all of these products that we talked about that are essential for having a successful online business, because they have the feeder products, they have the funded products, they have the primary products, and they've got a ton of back-end products that are very high ticket. Now, Digital Altitude provides all of that, and not only do they provide the products, but once you get somebody to make that initial purchase, they've got a whole system for ascending people through this path to buying the high-ticket back-end products with sales team, like phone sales, live chat, on the website. They've got coaches and email marketing and all types of ways to help turn this customer into a high-ticket back-end customer. Now, one of the things that they don't really provide is the traffic. Like they'll teach you. You will learn how to drive traffic, but there's easier ways to generate traffic and to build an email list. Like I was saying, all the traffic, if you just send the traffic directly to an affiliate offer or to their sales page, for example, then like the people that don't buy, you kind of lose those visitors. So with a squeeze page or an email opt-in page, you're actually able to build an additional asset that you can use to sell these products as well as other products, build a reputation with your subscribers, and build some trust. And you can sell you can sell other Digital Altitude products, but you can sell other products that aren't Digital Altitude related. As long as they're in the same market. So what we do at Digital Insiders is we kind of provide you with the resources and the training that you need to be able to generate traffic and build an email list. And then what we use for our backend, what we recommend that you guys use as your products, because if you don't have your own products and you don't have your own sales team and all that and support and everything, that's very time intensive. It takes a lot to get all that set up. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. So by leveraging the fact that Digital Altitude already has this and they pay out good commissions for the referrals, we are going to train you guys on how to generate the traffic and how to build an email list and things like that. And then you will just use Digital Altitude as the product that we're promoting for you guys to make money. Now, again, the principles that we're teaching you can be applied to anything, but this is what our students have had a lot of success with. So we've had our students promoting various products in the past, but right now Digital Altitude is the one that's just really crushing it for people. So we want to keep doing what works, right? So one of the things that we provide you with is some additional marketing materials. We provide you with the actual traffic source that we use at no markup. It's what we pay for it. but we just want to help you guys out, help you generate the traffic so we sell it to you at our cost. We also have marketing materials, squeeze pages that are done for you, and sales pages that are completely different from the other Digital Altitude sales pages, because there's a ton of people out there that are promoting Digital Altitude. It's a pretty big brand at this point. So what happens is when people see that sales page over and over and over again, they get kind of tired of it and people don't buy it, right? Like the market gets kind of saturated with all these people promoting Digital Altitude. So what we do is we create our own custom sales pages, and we constantly are testing and tweaking them every single day. So they're constantly evolving and getting better and better conversion rates. And we provide those to you guys so that you can use those instead of the ones that Digital Altitude provides, because we found that we're able to get higher conversion rates. We make more sales that way. But before we provide you with all of this stuff, we really encourage you strongly to wait until you've completed your business plan and before you spend any money on traffic, because we haven't shown you how to maximize your profits yet. So at this point, you guys are just getting started, and you might be really excited and eager to get started with this and start sending some traffic to your sales pages. But we highly recommend that you don't spend any money on traffic until you fully understand how to maximize your profits. So the next steps that you need to take are: be sure that you finished steps 1 through 6, contact your coach. Once you've completed level 6, you schedule your call with your coach. So the way that you do that is you just log into your Digital Altitude members area, and right down here where it says call coach, you just click that button, and you'll be able to scroll down to your coach, and you'll just be able to sign up here. Normally there's like a little button, not on this account, but normally there's a button where it just says book call with coach. You just click that. So that's what you would do. And then once you've talked to your coach about your next steps, then you can get access to some additional resources, which are inside your Income University members area. So you should already have access to this. If you don't have access to Income University, or you don't have your login information or whatever for whatever reason, just go to incomeuniversity.com. I'll put that in the chat box here. And okay, so you just go there, and you can just click this little guy right here and just talk to somebody at our support staff right here and just say, hey, I need my login to Income University. I can't find it, or it wasn't emailed to me or whatever, and they'll get you hooked up. But then once you've completed level 6 of Digital Altitude and you've talked to your coach about your next steps, you'll just contact support again, same way, and they'll give you access to all this training in here. So there's a bunch of trainings, and a bunch of additional resources, and like generating traffic, are done for you sales pages and squeeze pages and things like that. So that's what you would do. Again, incomeuniversity.com. You can either email support at incomeuniversity.com or use the live chat feature to get access to that stuff. Now the next level is Rise, and this is something that your coach will talk to you about. I highly recommend that you talk to your coach about this. I'm not going to recommend that anybody necessarily joins Rise right now. It's something I highly recommend that you do at some point, but it's, everybody's situation is different, so I'm not going to, that's something you have to talk to your coach about. But if you want a little bit more information, check out that video there. And I've done my best, because I've done this a few times, to try and answer preemptively all the questions that I think you guys might have at this point, but I realize that I don't always do that. So go ahead, and if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. Please keep in mind that I do not work for Digital Altitude. I'm not tech support. So if you have any technical issues logging into your Digital Altitude account, or you have questions that might be better for your Digital Altitude coach, just keep that in mind. Mostly the type of questions that I'm here to answer are things that involve the actual process of running an online business, the type of stuff that we talked about tonight, right? So if you have technical issues, then I would contact Digital Altitude support about that. We had somebody asked, is Advanced ready yet? Yeah, Advanced is ready. So yeah, if you don't have access to this tab where it says Advanced, then contact, as long as you've, remember, finished the first 6 steps of Digital Altitude, you've talked to your coach, and you've decided on your next steps with your coach, then you can talk to us, and we'll give you access to the Advanced tab, and you can contact support just with this little chat box right here. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if that's your case, then yeah, contact support at Income University. Yeah, it's actually these advanced resources are primarily they're not really even primarily for the people at the Rise level. They're more for people. A lot of them are more for people that are in between that aren't ready to join Rise yet. But either way, you'll have access to those. All right, cool. We're at almost an hour. It looks like we don't have a whole lot of questions coming in, so hopefully that means that I did a pretty good job of explaining everything. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to type in any questions that you have, and if you don't have any more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. All right, looks like I'm not seeing a lot of questions coming in. You're very welcome. Jester's Court, you're welcome. Did everybody feel like this was pretty helpful? Jose, yes, there is going to be a recording. We'll get that posted in the Facebook group and in the Income University members area. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like I'm really trying to kind of make this like kind of this presentation is pretty much the same thing every week, but I'm trying to improve it so that it's like a lot more seamless. It makes a lot more sense for all the new people that are coming in. So I'm hoping that that's the case, that you guys got a lot out of it. If you do have any suggestions, I'm open to any suggestions to help clarify. But yes, you guys, you're very welcome. All right, cool. Well, it looks like there's not a lot of questions. I think that we did a pretty good job of answering them, I guess. So hopefully you guys found that this insightful. We'll get the replay posted for you in the Facebook group and in the Income University members area. And okay, one question was how do we create the front end and back end? So that's something that we're not getting into here, and that's one of the reasons why I recommend promoting digital altitude, because you don't have to learn, you don't have to know how to create these products, because all of these products are created for you. It's all done for you. All you do is use their link. So like, for example, when you're promoting the products, if you just go here, my links under my marketing, yeah, there's a bunch of links. And again, we have our own custom sales materials that will help you guys, but that convert pretty well for a lot of you guys. But so for example, like this is just an affiliate link right here. If I send somebody through this link and they end up signing up and they end up making a purchase, then I will get paid for that. Okay, because all the products have already been created. So that's why we recommend using digital altitude, because you don't have to create your front end products. You don't have to create your back end products and all that sort of stuff. If that makes sense. So Shashi, does that kind of clarify that for you? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for attending. And for those of you that haven't yet signed up for our email training, which is something that we're going to be doing tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern, or sorry, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. I'll be critiquing emails and stuff, and you guys should have received an email from me. Let me see. I just kind of thought about this. I didn't. I don't have the link, but check your email, because I sent out an email to you guys earlier, and I will be sending out an email tomorrow morning. So just keep an eye out for that, and you'll be able to sign up and register for that. But definitely keep an eye on your email. I would check your email now because I sent an email out on how to register for that earlier today. So I apologize for not having that link handy, but yeah, you should have an email, and I'll be sending another one out in the morning. So hope to see you guys there. Thank you very much for attending, and I'll see you next time.